Hi class, welcome to today's lecture, Motivating Employees in Business 20 Introduction to Business. The objectives are define motivation and understand why it is important in the workplace. Understand the difference between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Explain the major theories of motivation, such as hierarchy of needs theory, expectancy theory, and equity theory. So what is motivation? Motivation refers to an internal drive to accomplish a goal or pursue a specific course of action. Motivation in the workplace. Employee motivation is crucial for workplace success. It fuels productivity, creativity, and loyalty. By understanding the driving forces behind motivation, we can create an environment where employees feel valued, engaged, and inspired to perform their best. In an organization, employees that are more engaged are also likely to be more productive, innovative, and contribute to the company's success. Employees that are motivated in the workplace are more creative and increase their innovations. Engaged employees are more likely to share ideas and contribute to innovation, which benefits the company's long-term growth. Motivated employees tend to be more loyal to the company and stay in their jobs longer, which reduces turnover and the cost of hiring and training employees. Motivated employees typically call in sick less frequently, are less likely to have bad attitudes to customers and coworkers, and also reduce intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation is driven by internal factors and personal satisfaction. People motivated intrinsically engage in activities because they find them enjoyable, rewarding, and fulfilling. People with intrinsic motivation, their creativity and performance are affected in a positive way. They are great they tend to explore and engage and explore deeply into their task. For example, someone may pursue a hobby or learn a new skill purely because it interests them, not for external reward. Intrinsic motivation is often linked to greater long-term engagement and satisfaction. Extrinsic motivation. This is driven by external factors and rewards. People motivated extrinsically perform activities to earn rewards or to avoid negative consequences, such as pay, recognitions, grades, or praise. Their creativity, they have lower creativity and performance. Their performance is usually led by task-oriented duties, and they're less likely to explore any other options. Extrinsic motivation can be effective for completing specific tasks or achieving short-term goals, but may not always foster sustained interest once the reward is removed. Okay, most influential theories of motivation is the hierarchy of needs theory, which proposes that we're motivated by 5 unmet needs: this physiological, safety, social, esteem, and self-actualization, and must satisfy lower level needs before we seek to satisfy higher level needs. The expectancy theory proposes that employees work harder to obtain a reward when they value the reward, believe that their efforts will result in acceptable performance, and believe that acceptable performance will lead to a desired outcome or reward. The equity theory focuses on our perceptions of how fairly we are treated relative to others. This theory proposes that employees create rewards ratios that they compare to those of others and will be less motivated when they perceive an imbalance in treatment. So let's look into the hierarchy of needs theory. Human motivation can be defined as the fulfillment of various needs. These needs can encompass a range of human desires from basic, tangible needs of survival to complex emotional needs surrounding an individual's psychological well-being. The needs in Maslow's hierarchy includes physiological needs such as food and clothing, safety needs such as job security, social needs such as friendship, self-esteem, and self-actualization. At the bottom of the pyramid are the physiological or also known as the basic human needs that are required for survival, such as food, shelter, water, sleep. If these requirements are not met, the body cannot continue to function. Faced with a lack of food, love, and safety, most people would probably consider food to be the most urgent need. Once physical needs are satisfied, security takes precedence. Security and safety needs include personal security, financial security, and health and well-being. These first two levels are important to the physical survival of the person. Once the individual has basic nutrition, shelter, and safety, they seek to fulfill higher level needs. The third level of need is social, which include love and belonging. When individuals have taken care of it themselves physically, they can address their needs to share and connect with others. Deficiencies at this level on account of neglect, shunning can impact an individual's ability to form and maintain emotional significant relationships. Humans need to feel a sense of belonging and acceptance, whether it comes from a large social group or a small network of family and friends. Other sources of social connection may be professional organizations, clubs, religious groups, social media sites, and so forth. Humans need to love and to be loved by others. Without these attachments, people can be vulnerable to psychological difficulties such as loneliness, social anxiety, and depression. These conditions, when severe, can impair a person's ability to address basic physiological needs such as eating and sleeping. The fourth level is esteem, which represents the normal human desire to be valued and validated by others through, for example, the recognition of success or status. This level also includes self-esteem, which refers to the regard and acceptance one has for oneself. Imbalances at this level can result in low self-esteem or an inferior complex. People suffering from low self-esteem may find the external validation by others through fame, glory, and acolytes. Only partial or temporarily fulfills their needs at this level. The fifth and last level of the pyramid is self-actualization. At this stage, people feel that they have reached their full potential and are doing everything they're capable of. Self-actualization is rarely a permanent feeling or state. Rather, it refers to the ongoing need for personal growth and discovery that people have throughout their lives. Self-actualization may occur after reaching an important goal or overcoming particular challenge and may be marked by a new sense of confidence or contentment. Expectancy theory by Victor Vroom suggests that behavior is motivated by anticipated results or consequences. Vroom proposed that a person decides to behave in a certain way based on their expected results or the chosen behavior. For example, people will be willing to work harder if they think that the extra effort will be rewarded. Expectancy theory has three components: expectancy, instrumental, and valence. Expectancy is the individual's belief that that effort will lead to the intended performance goals. Expectancy describes the person's belief that I can do this. Usually, this belief is based on an individual's past experience, self-confidence, and the perceived difficulty of the performance standard or goal. Factors associated with the individual's expectancy, perception, or competence, goal difficulty, and control. Instrumentally is the belief that a person will receive a desired outcome of the performance expectations is met. Instrumentally reflects that the person's belief that if I accomplish this, I will get that. That desired outcome may come in the form of pay increase, promotion, recognition, or sense of accomplishment. Having clear policies in place, preferably spelled out in a contract, guarantees that the reward will be delivered if the agreed upon performance is met. Instrumentality is low when the outcome is vague or uncertain, or if the outcome is the same for all possible levels of performance. Valence is the unique value or individual places on a particular outcome. Valence captures the fact that I find this particular outcome desirable because I'm me. Factors associated with the individual's valence are needs, goals, preferences, values, sources of motivation, and the strength of an individual's preference for a particular outcome. An outcome that one employee finds motivating and desirable, such as a bonus or pay raise, may not be motivating and desirable to another, who may be, for example, prefer greater recognition or more flexible work hours. Equity theory. Equity theory intends to explain relational satisfaction in terms of perceived fairness. That is, people evaluate the extent to which there is a fair or unfair distribution of resources within their interpersonal relationships. When applied to the work environment, this theory proposes that employees analyze their contributions or job inputs and their rewards or job outcomes. Equity theory is regarded as one of the many theories of justice and was developed in 1963 by John Stacey Adams. Adams, a workplace and behavioral psychologist, asserted that employees seek to maintain equity between what they put into a job and what they receive from it against the perceived inputs and outcomes of others. Equity theory proposes that people value fair treatment, which motivates them to maintain a similar standard of fairness with their coworkers and the organization. Currently, equity structure in the workplace is based on the ratio of inputs and outcomes. Inputs are the employee's contribution to the workplace. Inputs include time spent working, their education, experience, and work performance, and level of effort, but can also include less tangible contributions such as loyalty, commitment, and enthusiasm. Outputs are what the employee receives from the employer. It can also be tangible or intangible. Tangible outcomes include salary and job security. Intangible outcomes might be recognition, praise, or sense of achievement. Thank you for watching today's lecture.